This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, and I'm your host, Jason Glick.
How you doing, Jason Glick?
Oh, I'm doing just fine, John. How about you?
Oh, not bad, considering.
Excellent.
And what exactly do you have in store for us this time?
Okay, well, if you've been reading the blog and listening to me talk for years now, you know that I'm basically very trade paperbacks focused. I like getting my comics in. It's nice collected editions. It looks better on the shelf. And it's a lot less effort than just having to deal with getting stuff drip fed to you on a monthly basis.
For some people it's sacrilege, though.
Yeah, I know they can deal with it though. But I mean, when you get news like today, when you hear that Neil Gaiman's Return to the Sandman overture, while the first issue came out just a couple weeks back, issue 2 has been pushed from December into February. I hear news like this and go, well, yeah, it's like that. This is the reason I don't go on my effort to read monthly comics anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, there's that to contend with. So but like I said, I've made my library is more than anything else built up with collected editions. The one exception to this is way back in the days back before digital had taken over everything, and broadband internet connections were not standard in every home. There's this dark age we called the early aughts, when if you wanted to read something like, say, Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol, you had to go on to eBay and buy it yourself, which is what I did. In fact, I accumulated a lot of collected editions and a lot of single issue runs through eBay way back in the day. One of the series that was very convenient to collect through this method was John Constantine, Hellblazer. This is it's one of the cornerstones of DC's mature readers line. I mean, back when Vertigo formed, Hellblazer was one of the titles that was inducted along with it. It's set a great standard over the years for supernatural action horror. It's and all around naughty parts. It's been a great run, and the best part about it is you could just with eBay, because the series is a series that has been a very writer driven series. So you could just go onto eBay, I want the Jamie Delano run for X amount of dollars. I want the Garth Ennis run. I want the Paul Jenkins run. And you could just go online and just get these things in that order. And that's how I got to collecting Hellblazer in single issue form more than anything else. Because even when tides changed and they went and DC started putting out everything in trade paperback form, I figured, I've got Hellblazer in single issues already. I'm just going to keep collecting it as is. So there were years when I was bought it religiously, even through the mediocre times of Mike Carey to the better times of Denise Mina and Andy Diggle, and all the way up until Peter Milligan took over with issue 251 proper. Now that's what I want to talk about today, because Hellblazer wrapped up earlier this year with issue 300, and I finally, after lots of tracking down through Amazon and other sites, I finally have all of his run. And so after reading it, it's as far as Hellblazer writers go, Milligan is kind of middle of the road. He's not the best one whoever wrote it, which I honestly think I think that for all the crazy things he did, I think Brian Azzarello did a great run that unlike a lot of other writers, didn't peter out at the end. He told a lot of compelling stories, and he also raised the series profile and sales to the point where if it wasn't for him, the series would have been canceled long before it reached 300. He basically brought the series to a higher watermark that allowed it to go on a very, very slow decline over the last 7 or 8 years. Well, probably longer than that, actually. It's Azzarello. Then if it wasn't for him, the series would have been ended a full decade longer than it did. That's how high he lifted the series. So chew on that for a bit. Anyway, the point. But also Paul Jenkins deserves credit for being probably the most underrated writer as well. I'd love to see his run eventually collected at some point, but seeing as how he burned his bridges recently at DC, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So his run, a lot of good stories in there, and it featured the best art of the entire series because it had Sean Phillips. Because Phillips can do supernatural as well as ordinary. As well, it's like just as good as any artist. He nailed that balance like throughout the majority of Jenkins' run. It's great stuff, and his work on Hellblazer is the reason why I think so highly of the artist today. But I'm getting distracted. Let's go back to Milligan. Milligan is an artist he's a writer who by all rights probably should be a lot more venerated than he is for doing some groundbreaking work with DC way back in the day. He had one of the other series that was part of the inaugural Vertigo lineup, Shade the Changing Man, but Shade the Changing Man is also the one series that hasn't been fully reprinted in trade paperback. I've liked 3 volumes they've put out of it so far, but apparently it just never gathered the proper mind share and momentum to get fully reprinted. He's also done good stuff with other esoteric titles like the future crime noir Screamer and the 2080 Future War series Bad Company, and also his idiosyncratic X-Men title X-Force and Ecstatics done with Mike Allred. Like he's done lots of he's had lots of successes over the years, but he's also had lots of stuff that didn't quite hit it in terms of mass appeal. I mean, there's his run on X-Men proper, which I kind of enjoyed, but it didn't quite click as far as what an X-Men story should be. You also got some of the other various like DC Vertigo titles he's done over the years, like say Greek Street. So that never really caught fire. Other stuff like say Infinity Inc. that just kind of tanked right out of the gate. And in Milligan's like unlike say some of the other founding Vertigo fathers like say Alan Moore, Grant Morrison, Garth Ennis, Neil Gaiman, Milligan has been like far more erratic and consistent than just about anyone else out there. And that's why that's the main reason why he doesn't get take a lot of the respect that he probably should be for the stuff of his that did hit over the years. Anyway, he wound up taking the job of writing Hellblazer from issue 251 onwards. And for the most part he had a pretty good handle on how to write John Constantine. Like the art, it's like the working class mage who's skill at bullshit carries him through a lot of hairy situations than it should. The thing about Milligan's run is that he's got a very arch sense of humor where characters will just have a metaphor. Almost meta commentary on their on their actions, where they just contemplate things openly and in a way that that's almost fourth wall breaking, but not quite. It's done wrong. Milligan's style can come off as too clever. It's like in a lot of ways, but with Hellblazer, I think he did a decent job. I mean, if you're acclimated to his style, and to be honest, if you've been reading for Hellblazer as long as I have, then chances are you're probably the kind of reader who will take notice when he shows up. But his John Constantine was kind of is just like the mage who's like heading to his later years. And ultimately finally deciding that maybe he doesn't want to go through go through life alone. Maybe it's time that, after all these years of avoiding commitment or burning bridges, that this is finally the time for him to settle down, and that's kind of hinted at broadly in the initial arc, which has him acting as a metaphor for a labor dispute he helped resolve through unscrupulous means back in the 80s. He tries romancing a doctor, and that goes badly, and then he winds up trying to get her love back through unscrupulous means, like very unsympathetic means, for lack of a better term, but winds up getting her killed in the process. But then he finds out that the one love that he had was right under his nose all this time. That comes in the form of Epiphany Graves, daughter of noted London gangster Terry Graves. Now, John's had a lot of lovers over the years, from mysticism based Zed from Jamie Delano's original run to grand love of his life, Kit Ryan from Garth Ennis's run, who promised to love him forever as long as he kept his magical bullshit out of their life. that didn't work out well, and Milligan essentially calls Ennis on it in the later on in the run. That's good fun right there when she shows up again. But with Epiphany, probably more than anything else in this run, that's probably the most successful part of it, because Milligan actually makes you believe that these two would be good together, and that they make a nice charismatic couple from the sex they have, lots of sex, and the fact that she's already got one foot in his world already, since she's a fairly experienced alchemist as well. And even though it may seem forced first, but the more I read of their relationship together, the more I actually liked seeing them together. I think that they actually worked well together. So the fact that John Constantine could actually have a nice woman together with him that would actually make him want to settle down and make it seem believable, kudos to Milligan for that. I mean, like I said, a lot of this stuff may come off as too arch and too self-conscious, but he still has plenty of good ideas here, from the fact that having John's trench coat become like a mystical artifact in its own right, to finally going back down to hell and to get his sister's soul out of there after Mike Carey consigned it in what I think is a very wrong-headed run back in the day. Milligan actually does do a good job of drawing on Hellblazer continuity, to the point where he goes I recognize what he's talking about, in the background right there, when he goes down to hell and he sees Rick the Vic, and a bunch of other famous friends stewing in his own bile. I can recognize I remember that from the Garth Ennis run. So, but at the same time, you can just also take it as, he's just another friend of John Constantine's who's just been fucked by the guy in the end. So overall, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is the best, some of the best stories, like Garth Ennis's Dangerous Habits and Brian Azzarello's Hard Time and High Water. It's there's nothing here that strikes me as a particularly classic Constantine story, one that's one for the ages. The ending that Milligan comes up with, on one hand, it's parts of it I do kind of enjoy the idea that John has to face up to his problems, with his niece, Gemma, who plays a very tragic role in this run, and it's really hard to read about what happens to her over the course of it. In the final story, I liked all the misdirection he does. How basically Milligan says, this is John's final he's going to die, but there's lots of nice misdirections in that final arc, and I think it did make a fitting end for the character up until those final pages where I just wished, I can look at this and think, okay, this is what he was going for. But at the same time, I just wish there was a little more clarity as to it. Or maybe he just said, hey, fuck you. Like, this is what I want. You're gonna go ahead and make your own decisions. So, like, if you've been reading Hellblazer all these years like me, it's like you're gonna find a lot of Milligan's run that's generally pretty agreeable for the most part. I mean, like, is it essential? Well, if you're like me and you've made a point to collect the series from beginning to end, then yeah, it's like, it doesn't get the character as misread the character's goals appeal as badly as Mike Carey did, who basically wrote John Constantine bitch for most of his run. But Milligan does do a good job of coming up with a lot of fun supernatural action that's been Hellblazer's bread and butter for many a year. He also has some very able artistic support from the tag team of Giuseppe Camicoli and Stefano Landini. Camicoli provides the layouts because he's also been putting in time at Marvel over the years with work on Superior Spider-Man and various other projects. But he first got his big break on Hellblazer way back in the days of Brian Azzarello, and he turns in some good solid work here with Landini, having a grand old time putting some nice finishes on his layouts, and they're both world class at depicting all the crazy supernatural menaces that John has to face, from revamps of the First of the Fallen to demons from India not werewolves, that's someone else, to just all sorts of crazy shit. It's good stuff, and it's a good deal brighter than most Hellblazer stories are, which I like. Cause most of the series is just kind of just dark. It's like dark, off colors. But here with the various colors who do take on the series, like Jamie Grant and Trish Mulvihill, it's like this is a very bright run that makes all the creepy supernatural shit stand out much more. Great work from them, but all the other people who fill in throughout the course of the run, from say Gail Bertrand, does a couple of nice fill-in issues, but also Simon Bisley, the cover artist, and Bisley is the kind of guy whose style starts it over the top, and just goes crazier from there. Here, so he managed to dial things back a bit to where things are just insane from his depiction of a dark and grimy London, and it's like, and looking at his style, it's like it's worlds away from the from Camicoli and Landini's lighter work, but Bisley's gritty, creepy work is a lot of fun to see. So overall, all Milligan's run is available in trade paperback form. So if you want, you can pick it up. But and if you're like me, it's like, yeah, you can probably just pay the right owner to get the series in single issue run. But Milligan's Hellblazer, if you've read everything else in the series and you're looking for decent stories with John Constantine, you don't mind arch self-conscious humor poking through on a fairly regular basis, then I recommend it. John, so any thoughts on this?
Trade paperbacks are awesome.
Yes,
I really do like them. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, it's like, maybe Hellblazer is kind of a series that would be ideal for, say, the omnibus treatment, for just getting, say 25 issues of a series, in one go. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon for the series. But I mean, that's if you're trying to collect all 300 issues. Well, best of luck to you. I mean, best of luck to you, because DC it seems to be slowly working to bring in everything back into print. I mean, I just read in their solicitations that, hey, they're getting the 2-issue Darko Macan fill in into print, but has there been anything of the Jenkins run reprinted? not at all. So if you want to read Paul Jenkins' Hellblazer, which is really very good, then yeah, eBay is the only way you're going to be able to do it.
Yep. Do you know what you're going to talk about next time on this podcast?
Not a goddamn clue at this point. I would say Vinland Saga, but I already wrote that up. But hey, it's like I just want to go out and say that's an excellent series. It's like it would have been like one of the best series of the year if it had matched on pages 130 onwards has been as good as the first 129 pages. But overall, it's great stuff, and it's great to finally have a series from Kodansha that I want to buy that isn't like a legacy title like say Battle Angel Alita or Genshiken.
Okay. And with that, we'll call it a night, and we'll talk to you next time on Comic Picks by the Click.
Yep. Later.
All right. Bye.